Okay, so now we're going to be discussing trends. Okay? Trends have a very common characteristics that always show up. So this is pound Aussie on the daily charts, okay? Now trends have this tendency of making higher highs with higher lows. Okay? So now let's go into perspective of what's a higher high, what's a higher low. Okay? So let's start from here. Okay? As this sideways slash sellers died out and the buyers start kicking in, let's go into what's a higher high, higher low sequence. So we got a higher high sequence coming in here, higher low sequence, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and then so on and so forth, right? Now let's get into some nitty gritty stuff. So as we're going for buyers and sellers territory, using trends is quite beneficial to find out exactly how you can pick up trades as well. Okay, because trends generally have pullbacks. Okay, and when a pullback comes in, you watch the momentum. You watch the momentum. It's not a 50% pullback. It's not a 61.8% pullback. For God's sake, please. Whenever I hear stuff like that, it's like, please stop that. Trading is not that simple. It's not that easy. If it was that easy, then we wouldn't have this case of 95% losing, right? So, anyways, we look at this going north, going north, going north. Finally, it halts in this area and it officially breaches. Once it breaches, it holds above the zone, holds above the zone, holds, goes higher. And I want you to think now, when he went higher, did he stay above this dotted line? No. He came right back. So the line could have gone there, and then when it comes right back, it's like, oh, maybe not. Then he tries to breach it higher. It's like, that's not a higher high either, because he comes right back down. Then he tries to go up again. That's not a higher high. It comes right back down. So this line never got broken, which means the purple breach stays here, and the guy responsible is down here. Now, in this context, here comes the buyer's reign ends, and here comes the sellers. Now, in this sequence, notice how the overall flow is the buyer's territory, right? And generally they like to use support equals resistance. So this is really far away from support. This is really far away from support equals resistance, but at the same time, the strength of the movement is so strong. Look at these. Look at how big these green candles are compared to the previous downfalls. They're very powerful. So we're watching this very carefully. As the sellers start to come in, they start dominating here. Seller 1 gets this far, pulls back 80%. Seller 2, no lower low, comes right back inside. Okay? Comes right back inside. And notice as he comes right back inside, notice this purple, this orange line. Notice this orange line. Is this not still the same area where we're saying that this is the line for the buyers? So it's in a mini buy zone anyways, where it looked like sellers were stepping in. They didn't step in. They didn't step in. They came right back into this area, giving you a heads up that this could still be a long. This could still be a long, and that's how your longs generate from that area. Now, bit complex on this one. It's okay. We'll do more examples. That's okay. So trends. Now, let's reverse it to the other side. So let's say this trend starts to roll over. It goes into a range, blah, blah, blah. And then it rolls over to the sell side. Okay? That's generally the concept of a trend. He goes in one direction, halts for a bit, resumes, or turns around. Okay? So that halts for a bit is generally the range period or the squeeze period or the channel period. That's all the halting period. Okay? So in this case, the market is trying to turn around. And as it's trying to turn around, we're looking at this. If I was to just look at this scale here, I'm not looking at this overall move. For the sake of just this trading example of what a trend is, if I look at just the scale here, notice how we go down and we make lower lows from this area, right? If we go down to make lower lows from this area, generally the concept is that area should hold. Okay, as support equals resistance. Okay, because this is different from a channel. This can come up all the way this high and it would still be a downturn if it was a channel state. But it's a trend state. It's a trend state. So trend states operate a little bit differently. They have the tendency to go further as well. Okay, so in this particular case, if we go into the nitty gritty of things, where it's the complete details of everything, so we're gonna see sellers come in, halt, 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 breach. Okay, here's a breach right there. They go down, they hold a bit, breach again, hold a bit, breach again, hold a bit, breach again, no lower low, so that's not a breach. So we have some breaches here, we have a breach up here, and then, but if I go like this, from the last breach, if I go straight across, wait a minute, price never held below. They just keep coming right back, right? So we're gonna put the line at the previous breach, which is right there, and say, that seems to be the guy who keeps holding the market, and here is the guy responsible. Okay? Plus, we're still using support equals resistance from this major support equals resistance here. Okay, so all in all, when we look at this, we're like, okay, here comes the buyers in the seller's context. Buyers, pull back buyers, halt, 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 halt. Comes crashing down. He breaches all that area, but he's still above this zone. Pulls back, comes down. Okay, sellers are coming in now. Buyer takes one more try. No higher high. Comes collapsing down. Tries again, collapsing down. Here comes the seller. So when you look at it like this, you're trying to see, how can I time this at the right moment? How can I time this at the right moment to get in at the right moment? Right? Because so you want to look at this very, very carefully and see, well, where's the moment for me to get in? Okay, so that is a trend in this case. Let's do some more examples. We'll get into more details, and I'll see if I can get one oddball in there too, like I did with the other examples. If we can find an oddball, it'll actually make you better. Trust me, it looks difficult now, but it will make you better. Okay, so on to some examples.